The countdown has begun. Now Dajjal has the excuse he needs. The Iranians are openly stating their intent to enrich uranium to unrestricted levels. The existential threat Mr. Netanyahu and Mr. Trump has been waiting for. The Europeans are on board. Europe wants Iran taken down just as much as Gog Magog and Dajjal, US UK false Israel. Remember that it was the Europeans that led the takedown of Libya, Gaddafi. The INJIL reveals the truth. The kings of the earth, who are America, Britain, Europe were gathered together to make war with Farad and his Shia army. Revelations 19. Iran is the backbone of Islam in the East. If they can take down Iran, then it will be easy to roll up the rest of the Islamic states. Their plan is to take down Iran, then set up Netanyahu, false Israel in control of the entire Middle East, Greater Israel, and its vast oil wealth. Wealth which false Israel has agreed to share with Europe and Britain. The House of SAUD is on board. They will take the trillions of dollars they have amassed and return back to India from where they came. That just leaves Egypt and Turkey. They have been promised a taste as long as they continue to roll over, to be themselves taken down at a later date. Allah's She-Camel. It is not Iran that you are attacking. It is Allah's She-Camel, consequence. You are fighting consequence. Mr. Trump, Iran is Allah's She-Camel, his symbol of consequence, which some call justice. This is the time of your visitation. The God of consequence is present. You are fighting against mathematics, the God of mathematics, whose most fundamental attribute is consequence. Consequence is his name. He will not tolerate you distressing his she-camel much longer. And I saw the wild beast and the kings of the earth and the armies of them having been led together to make the war with the sitting upon the horse and with the army of him. And was caught the wild beast, America, and with it the false prophet, false Israel, the having done the signs inside of it, in which he made to err the having received the engraving of the wild beast and the worshipping to the image of it, living were thrown the two into the lake of the fire of the burning in sulfur. Mr. Trump is provoking Iran. Not us, it ain't us provoking Iran, we just trying to starve them to death, it's them provoking us by complaining about the sanctions. If they keep complaining, we will be forced to silence them.
The Middle East is about to explode. The tinderbox, the spark that will ignite the time of unprecedented trouble. World War III, the War of Armageddon. Who will strike first? Mr. Donald Trump, President of the United States. This is the time of restoration, the restoration of all things, the end of your reign of terror, the time for America to face 400 years of dammed up consequence. There is no, quote, making America great again, end quote. It was never great. It's your time of consequence. Advice: repent, pack up, and immediately lead a European ancestry exodus back to Europe, taking nothing with you but your clothing. The window for this brief mercy is quickly closing. Willingly or unwillingly, you will return from whence you came, either in chains or not. That's your choice, only choice. Time is of the essence. Jonah, in the name of Allah, Lord of the worlds. P.S. Leave Iran alone.
Michael and his angels fought. And the dragon and his angels fought. The dragon, Saudi Arabia. O you who believe, take not the Jews and the Christians for friends. They are friends of each other. and whoever amongst you takes them for friends, he is indeed one of them. Surely Allah guides not the unjust people. The House of SAUD are not Muslim, they are Hindus set up by Britain, posing as Muslim. They will never make peace with Muslim Iran, as they are allies and puppets of Jews, false Israel and Christians, America. This is a decisive statement in the Quran. The dragon is Saudi Arabia, an enemy to Islam, a friend of Christians and Jews. What's going on? The struggle for life, the battle for the planet. The Caucasians have the planet. They don't want to give it up. They know it means death for them. No people has ever loved life as much as they. They have many hostages. They are far wiser than they appear, yet without wisdom. They will kill the inheritors if they have to. They are threatening to scorch the surface of the planet if attacked. They've had a glimpse of God, and they want more, more, more. It has made them powerful. They know who God is, they worship Him faithfully every day. As Cain found out, God does not respect their worship, nor their offerings. They are conflicted. Their minds love God, their natures are averse to God in every way, profoundly averse. They are threatening God to accept them. They want to be accepted by God. They want their Father to be proud of them. Immortality or nothing. Father, I don't want to die. They are forcing their way into heaven with violence. They have become a god in their own right, and rejected, the rejected son, they are prepared to murder their father. Father won't accept them, Father must die. Hell awaits the vanquished. Hell awaits. Consequence. 20 And he said, Thou canst not see my face, for there shall no man see me, and live. No man can see God and live. God is mathematics. The essence of mathematics is consequence, some call justice. The Caucasians, Yaqub's grafted devils, cannot see God and live. They cannot survive the consequence of their deeds. At the time of their reckoning, they perish, every one of them. Their very nature is their mortality. The wages of sin is death. They are profoundly sinful. It's their DNA. Their expiration date was built into their DNA. If they turned to righteousness, they would be profoundly unhappy, their happiness, their pleasure is in their wickedness. The Covenant. Had Adam and Eve served the purpose of their creation, we would have prepared a place for them. Yaqub's grafted devils were commanded to be caretakers of the garden and the trees therein. Not to consume/exterminate the tree. There was everything in the garden to sustain them, there was no need to exploit the tree, to force the tree to serve them. That's the understanding of not eating of the tree. The tree is the original people who America and Britain was supposed to serve, to protect, water, etc. during their dormant period of energy deprivation. Yet they, instead turned on the original people, exploited, forced them to serve them under great duress, with the intent to eliminate them altogether. America and Britain was given abundance, there was no need for them to abuse/consume the tree, yet they did, out of greed and profound evil, for which they are about to suffer the consequence. And I saw upon the right of the sitting upon the throne little book having been written from inwardly and from behind, having been sealed down to seals 7. And I saw angels strong heralding in voice great who worthy to open up the little book and to loose the seals of it. And no one was able in the heaven nor upon the earth nor underneath the earth to open up the little book nor to be looking at it. And I was weeping much because no one worthy was found to open up the little book nor to be looking at it. And one out of the older persons is saying to me, Not be you weeping, look. Conquered the Lion, the out of the tribe of Judah, the root of David, to open up the little book and the 7 seals of it. And I saw in midst of the throne and of the four living and in middle of the older person's lamb having stood as having been slaughtered, having horns 7 and eyes 7, which are the 7 spirits of the God, having been sent off into all the earth. And he came and he has taken out of the right of the sitting upon the throne
The INJIL key. The INJIL is a sealed book, a coded book, a book under a veil. Such a book requires a key to unlock it, to decipher it, to remove its seals. The INJIL declares that fact itself. It makes it absolutely clear that it is sealed and that its seals are impregnable by all, anywhere in the universe except for one individual called the Lamb of God. Some say the book is in the hand of God. But what God? Wherever the God is who is in possession of the book, he can't break its seals either. Quote, and I saw upon the right of the setting upon the throne the little book having been written from inwardly and from behind, having been sealed down to 7 seals. And I saw angel strong, heralding, and voice great, who is worthy to open up the little book and to loose the seals of it. And no one was able in the heavens, nor upon the earth, nor underneath the earth, to open up the little book, nor to be looking at it. And I was weeping much, because no one was found to open up the little book, nor to be looking at it. End quote. It is clear that only the Lamb is able and worthy to break the seals. To open a lock, you must have the key. This is the key. The arch deceiver. The INJIL, along with Daniel, are declared as the last revelations, the revelations of the end times. The INJIL, called the Gospels, Revelations, the Apocalypse, is supplemented by the book of Daniel. They are companion books. Fact is, chapter 13 of the INJIL is the umbilical cord between the two books. Both books are sealed, only to be unsealed in the end times and only by the Son of Man. But that fact has not gone unnoticed by the devils and demons. They, the devils and their demon offspring, are in full denial, full resistance mode. They are doing everything in their power to prevent the light of both books, particularly the INJIL, from ever penetrating the dark clouds of lies and confusion they have surrounded the Son of Man with. The chief demon, Farrakhan, the son of perdition, has his minions blowing smoke and throwing dust into the eyes of the people. Their efforts will fail, are failing. Not only is the INJIL unsealed as well as Daniel, but the key and methodology is revealed for all to see also. Only deceived are those seeking to be deceived. They cling to the arch deceiver, the son of perdition, the chief demon.
And the living the first like to lion. And the second living like to young bull. The third living having the face as of man. And the fourth living like to eagle flying. And the living the first like to lion, and the second living like to young bull, and the third living having the face as of man, and the fourth living like to eagle flying. And out of the throne are coming out lightning and voices and thunders, and 7 lamps of fire burning inside of the throne, which are the 7 spirits of the God. And inside of the throne as sea glassy like to crystal. And in midst of the throne and to circle of the throne 4 living being full of eyes in front and from behind. And the 4 living, one down on one of them having up wings 6, from circle and from inwardly they are full of eyes. Satan. Sitting on throne. With book in right hand.
The golden calf. The two top wings of each nation are the Islamic one-third of the nation, represented by gold. Gold represents Islam. The original nation was all Muslim, all gold, before it was corrupted by the devil's seed. That understanding reveals the identity of the golden calf, Sunni Islam.
Sunni Islam is the golden calf, that the true seed of Abraham was told to avoid. The messenger Elijah/Moses forbid the Sunni attendance to his temples. Not that Sunniism was false. No, Sunniism is the wisdom of prophets. Nothing short of the wisdom of the God is acceptable for the original nation, the gods of the universe. Supreme wisdom. The Injil is the language of the Bible. You cannot understand the scriptures if you don't understand the Injil language. The earth is symbolic of European/Caucasian countries. Adam was made from the dust of the earth. Adam, Britain is an island country off the coast of Europe. Britain is not Europe, but its inhabitants are European. Britain is composed of rejects, refugees, immigrant, exiles, fugitives, dust from Europe, the earth. The English language is a smorgasbord of European languages. Adam, Britain was put into a deep sleep, which was the so-called 1,000 years Dark Ages, medieval. The deep sleep was triggered by the rise of Prophet Muhammad and resurrection of Islam that bottled up the Caucasians, Christians, and Jews in Europe, the abyss, for 1,000 years as stated in chapter 20 of the Injil. When Adam, Britain awoke from his 1,000 years slumber, Eve, America, was taken from his side. Eve, America, having been taken from the side of Adam, though still attached, was later separated and the point of separation severed/closed. America was a colony of Britain, from which America was later separated becoming independent, the Revolutionary War. Adam and Eve had 3 sons, Abel, Seth and Cain. Seth is Syria, Abel is Iran, and Cain is false Israel. Iran and Syria as well as Iraq, Kuwait etc. are all countries invented by Britain/Adam. When Britain occupied the Middle East, they drew artificial borders which never existed previously. Adam and Eve produces false Israel in 1948. To counter Elijah's narrative that the original people are the true seed of Abraham, America/Gog had to create a counter-narrative, thereby establishing a Jewish state taking others' land. Cain, false Israel, slays his brothers. Adam was made from the dust of the earth. From the riffraff, exiles, immigrant, fugitives, rejects, banished, refugees etc. of Europe. Eve, America, after Adam's, Britain's, 1,000 years of slumber called the Dark Ages, was taken from Adam's, Britain's, side, a British colony, which would eventually have its umbilical cord cut by revolution. A tree was transplanted from Africa, a tree called the tree of good and evil, which is also the tree of life. Adam and Eve were told not to eat of the tree of good and evil. The command to Adam and Eve was to not consume/exterminate their blacks. There were 3 creatures or beasts in the garden, who Adam gave English names to. The names of the nations are English names, which they don't call themselves. Eve eats from the tree she was commanded not to eat of. America has contrived a war, which it plans to be rid of/exterminate their blacks. The final solution, abortion having failed. Genocide under the color of war. Adam/Britain follows Eve/America's lead and he too eats from the tree. America moves on Iran, being opposed by Russia and Europe. Christian blacks are being set up to be drafted to be exterminated in battle, fighting for their country. Genocide under the color of war. The tree is the original nation, which is also symbolized by eyes. Having eaten, Adam/Britain, Eve/America, now have eyes. They clothe themselves with sackcloth, which are the 2 witnesses of chapter 11 of the INJIL, to cover their nakedness. This is the upcoming war, the rise of the SHIA, throwing America, Britain, and false Israel out of the Middle East. The fight between Michael and his angels and the dragon and its angels. The serpent is forced upon its belly. The blowing of the 4 winds. The resurrection of the dead, the original nation. Eve smites serpent's head. Serpent's head smites Eve's heel. This represents the resurrection of the original nation by the Son of Man. Every eye will see him. Each creature had eyes before and behind, which represents the original nation being scattered among the nations. The woman. And sign great was seen in the heaven, woman having been thrown about the sun, and the moon underneath the feet of her, and upon the head of her crown of stars 12, and in belly having, and she is crying out, being in birth pains and being tormented to give birth. The woman. The woman gives birth to a son and a child. She is also being tormented to give birth, meaning she is being raped, forced. She produces a son, Farad, who will rule the nations with his rod of iron, the SHIA. She also produces a child, the Son of Man. She's forced/tormented to give birth to demons, the product of rape, the devil's seed. The Son. The dragon stands by looking to destroy the Son at his birth. It's not the dragon that is tormenting the woman to give birth, the dragon wants to prevent birth. Where is the birth to take place? It's in the dragon's lair. Where was Farad born? He was born in the city Mecca in Saudi Arabia. That is the dragon's lair. The dragon is the house of SAUD. Dragon. And there appeared another wonder in heaven, and behold a great red dragon, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and 7 crowns upon his heads. The woman is the original nation who is giving birth to Farad, who is destined to rule the nations with a rod of iron, the SHIA. The woman is being tormented to give birth, meaning she is giving birth to Farad and others. The others are the tormentor's seed. The parable of the tares and wheat explains this. It is not the dragon who is tormenting her, as the dragon is trying to prevent the birth. Farad was born in Saudi Arabia, which identifies the lair and identity of the dragon. The woman was being subjected to unrelenting, unrestrained rape for over 400 years, producing demons. Demons are the seed of devils. Black-faced devils, that's the source of the word demon. Devil, man. Half devil, half man. Demon. They are the chaff/weeds forced into the mix with the wheat. The INJIL reveals that virtually half of the black population are demons. One drop of black blood don't make you original. You are whatever your father is. That's genetics, that's science. The demons are the blacks who are raping, killing, drug pushing, etc. etc. Some originals are guilty of such sins, but their original nature, conflicted, eventually delivers them from such evil actions. In 1975, the departure of the messenger who was holding back the son of perdition and fellow plotters, was taken away. The parable makes it crystal clear that the messenger who was holding back the son of perdition had to be taken away first. Then there would be the falling away. The falling away of the original nation. Then the son of perdition, one of the plotters, would be revealed. The son of perdition is singular, not a group of people as the anointed would have you believe. The falling way is the woman fleeing away into the wilderness, with the dragon in pursuit seeking to destroy her righteous seed, which is plural, showing that the woman gave birth to more than Farad, the son destined to rule the nation with a rod of iron. The dragon, failing to devour the son, goes after her righteous seed, the nation of Islam. The dragon, the Sunni, have been at war seeking to destroy the nation of Islam since its inception. They have been and continue to do everything they can to undermine the nation of Islam. The INJIL reveals that the dragon has penetrated the nation of Islam at its highest levels, the son of perdition, who is aligned with Satan, as is the dragon. Suddenly we are told by the son of perdition that the Jews are not the enemy anymore, just the satanic Jews. Whoever they are. The dragon has 7 crowns on its 7 heads, while no crowns on its 10 horns. The beast has no crowns on its heads, but 10 crowns on its horns. This represents a change in the balance of power from the Caucasian nations to the Oriental and Asian nations, China and India, following the fall of Babylon, America, having been soundly defeated by Iran in the Middle East, followed by a devastating battle and defeat in Europe at the hands of Russia and the EU nations.
The dragon is the first, with the diadems on his 7 heads. The diadems represents his power and authority, which rests with the Caucasian nations. Caucasian nations are his 7 heads. The second, with the diadems on his horns, is the beast. This beast is the Asian and Oriental nations, who has taken power and authority from the dragon, from the Caucasian nations. The third, with no diadems, is the African nations, who share power with the beast that has diadems on his horns. As shown, the golden head of Daniel's statue is the original nation. The silver breast is the African nation. The thighs and buttocks of brass are the Jews. Brass is a fool's gold. The Jews are pretending to be the original nation, the gold, the seed of Abraham. The legs of iron are the 2 remaining branches of the Roman Empire, Europe and Russia. The clay feet which represent 10 small toes, are the Oriental and Asian nations, the leopard. The 2 remaining toes of iron, the big toes, are America and Britain. The bear is the tail of the dragon. The bear is the African nation alongside the beast with diadems on his horns. The dragon and bear are described by the INJIL. The ram here are the Jews or fake Israel. The 2 horns of the ram, the one that came up last but is larger, is America. The one that came up first is Britain. The war between the Caucasian nations, America, Britain, Russia, and Europe, will break the Caucasian nations. Power and authority will shift from the Caucasian nations, the head of the dragon with diadems, to the Oriental and Asian nations with diadems on their horns, specifically China and India. The leopard, symbolic of China and India, individually can field armies of hundreds of millions of men, greater than the population of America and Britain combined.
One. And whenever he opened up the seal the 7th, occurred silence in the heaven as half hour. 2. And I saw the 7 angels who inside of the God have stood, and were given to them 7 trumpets. 3. And other angel came and he stood upon the altar having censer golden, and was given to him incenses many in order that he will give to the prayers of the holy all upon the altar the golden the inside of the throne. 4. And stepped up the smoke of the incenses to the prayers of the holy out of hand of the angel inside of the God. 5. And has taken the angel the censer, and he filled it out of the fire of the altar, and he threw into the earth, and occurred thunders and voices and lightnings and shaking. 13. And it is doing signs great, in order that also fire it may make out of the heaven to be stepping down into the earth inside of the men. 14. And it is making to air the dwelling upon the earth through the signs which it was given to it to do inside of the wild beast, saying to the dwelling upon the earth to make image to the wild beast who is having the blow of the sword, and it lived. 15. And it was given to her to give spirit to the image of the wild beast in order that also should speak the image of the wild beast, and it might make in order that as many as if ever not might give worship to the image of the wild beast they should be killed. 911. The event of 911 precedes the blowing of the 7 trumpets. In fact, the 911 event triggers the blowing of the 7 trumpets. The chapter starts out with a silence of about 1/2 hour. An hour in the INJIL is 24 years, so an approximation of an 1/2 hour would be either 11 or 13 years. 11 or 13 years from when? From the silence. One might notice that of the 7 seals, the only one where John hears nothing is the 5th seal. There was a silence where John hears nothing. The 5th seal is the attack against Iran, the end of the Iran-Iraq War in August 1988. Iran, the victim of Gog, America's, the dragon, House of SAUD's, and Dajjal, false Israel's, inspired aggression, is pleading to their 12th Imam for vengeance. They are told that vengeance would be withheld until their Shia brothers has suffered as they had, which is Syria. Syria has been under attack for nearly 8 years as Iran was. So, the starting point of silence would be August 1988, and with the addition of 13 years, would be September 2001. The holy are Sunni, the Arabs. It is false Israel, the image beast who has power to bring fire out of heaven. Heaven is the Middle East, and the fire is Africa. False Israel is able to bring fire out of the Middle East, heaven, in the sight of men. The only ones who have sight in the INJIL are the original nation, and they are in America, which means, the fire's target is America. So in summary, 911 was a false Israel operation, using the dragon, Sunni Arabs, and African Arabs, to cast fire down upon America. Chapter 10 also provides a hint. The feet of the angel were towers/pillars of fire. 1 And I saw another angel strong stepping down out of the heaven, having been thrown about cloud, and the rainbow upon the head of him, and the face of him as the sun, and the feet of him as pillars of fire. 911 was a false flag operation by false Israel to get America to go to war against Islam. And I saw another angel strong stepping down out of the heaven, having been thrown about cloud, and the rainbow upon the head of him, and the face of him as the sun, and the feet of him as pillars of fire. And it is doing signs great, in order that also fire it may make out of the heaven to be stepping down into the earth inside of the men. 14 And it is making to air the dwelling upon the earth through the signs which it was given to it to do inside of the wild beast, saying to the dwelling upon the earth to make image to the wild beast who is having the blow of the sword, and it lived. 15 And it was given to her to give spirit to the image of the wild beast, in order that also should speak the image of the wild beast, and it might make in order that as many as if ever not might give worship to the image of the wild beast they should be killed. And the 7 angels the having the 7 trumpets prepared themselves in order that they might trumpet. The first trumpet to blow is the 5th trumpet. The 5th trumpet blows in 2003, signaling the so-called Gulf War. The 6th trumpet is holding back the first 4 trumpets. The 6th trumpet is holding back the first 4 trumpets. The 6th trumpet is holding back the kings from the east bound by the river Euphrates. The 6th trumpet has blown, and is holding back the 4 winds, the first 4 trumpets. The 2nd trumpet to blow is the 7th trumpet. The sun becomes black as moon hole, and sackcloth becomes blood. This process occurs beginning from 2003, with the blowing of the 5th trumpet, to 2019, ending in the blowing of the 6th trumpet, which releases the first 4 trumpets, or 4 winds. The 7th trumpet is Obama, who steps down from power in 2016, between 2003 and 2019. The 7th trumpet is the rider on the white horse of the first seal, who has 2 conquests to make. He went forth conquering and to conquer. The 7th trumpet is Obama. The first trumpet doesn't blow until after the 6th trumpet. The first 4 trumpets, the 4 winds, were held back by the 6th trumpet. The first of the first 4 trumpets, the 4 winds, has not blown yet. It will not be released until the fall of America, Babylon. This delay is a mercy to the nation of Islam, who are soon to awaken to son of perdition, to be nourished by the Son of Man, who will prepare them for the ordeal of the tribulation period, which they must endure for their straying from the path laid out for them by the messenger. The 2nd wind blows, the death angel that kills all of Pharaoh's firstborn. This is Britain, the firstborn, Adam. Firstborn relative to America. But the nation of Islam is protected as the Lamb of God, the Son of Man is present, his mark on the door. The 3rd wind blows, this wind takes peace away from the earth, meaning the igniting of war in Europe. The war between America and Britain on one side, against Russia and Europe on the other. The fourth trumpet to blow is the fourth wind. The fourth wind dispatches the son of perdition, the chief demon, Farrakhan. The blowing of the four winds blows simultaneously. 3 of the 4 winds strike the 3 demons, the black-faced Caucasians, which drives them to the Son of Man, Ancient of Days for judgment. This is the resurrection. Obama is the rider on the white horse, going forth conquering and to conquer. His first conquest is president. His next is to lead a non-Islamic African nation federation allied with the beast in the Great War. 1 And I saw when opened up the Lamb 1 out of the 7 seals, and I heard of 1 out of the 4 living saying as to voice of thunder, be you coming. 2 And I saw, and look, horse white, and the sitting upon it having bow, and was given to him crown, and he went out conquering and in order that he might conquer. The sword is the first and second trumpets, first and second winds. When the 4 winds begin blowing, it will ignite the great war in Europe, following America's, Britain's, and false Israel's devastating, humiliating defeat in the Middle East at the hands of Iran, and its Shia allies. 4 And went out another horse fiery red, and to the sitting upon it was given to him to take the peace out of the earth, and in order that one another they will slaughter, and was given to him sword great. The third seal is really death, not the fourth seal. A bad translation. Farad has a yoke in his hands. The yoke represents the rod of iron that Farad will rule the nations with. Asia and the Orient are Daniel's leopard, yellow with brown spots. America is being warned as of this presentation, do not harm/attack the Shia, specifically, Iran. Leave Iran and Syria, oil and the wine, alone. And when he opened up the seal the third, I heard of the third living saying, be you coming. And I saw, and look, horse black, and the sitting upon it having yoke in the hand of him. And I heard as voice in midst of the 4 living saying, kernix of wheat of denarius, and 3 konixes of barleys of denarius, and the oil and the wine not you should treat unrighteously. The fourth seal identifies the rider on the third horse as death. This is contrary to the prevailing view, but getting a concordance, or a transliteral version of this scripture, and upon close examination, you will see that's not the rider on the fourth horse, but the rider on top of that rider that is death, with the rider on top of him as Hades. The Oriental nations are death. The Asian nations are Hades. All the plagues and riders are against America, the 1/4 of the earth. 7 And when he opened up the seal the fourth, I heard voice of the fourth living saying, be you coming. 8 And I saw, and look, horse greenish yellow, and the sitting upon top of it named to him the death, and the Hades was following with him, and was given to them authority upon the 4th of the earth, to kill in long sword and in famine and in death and by the wild beasts of the earth. The 5th seal referenced the end of the Iraq-Iran war, where the Iranians are praying for vengeance against those who attacked them, those that supported the attack and those who inspired the attack. They are the dragon, house of SAUD, Gog, Magog, U.S., United Kingdom, and false Israel. The Iranians are told by their 12th Imam to wait until their brothers, Syria, who will suffer as they had, and then he, Farad, their 12th Imam, will avenge them. The Iraq-Iran war lasted 8 years. The war against Syria is completing its 8th year. 9 And when he opened up the 5th seal, I saw underneath of the altar the souls of the having been slaughtered through the word of the God and through the witness which they were having. 10 And they cried out to voice great saying, until when, the Master the holy and true, not are you judging and are you avenging the blood of us out of the inhabiting upon the earth? 11 And was given to them to each robe white, and it was told to them in order that they will rest up yet time little, until should be fulfilled also the fellow slaves of them and the brothers of them the being about to be being killed as also they. Demons are non-white-skinned devils. The seed of devils with other than devil mothers. Hybrids. All nations are plagued with them. They are the hidden enemy, sowing dissension and strife. They are drawn to America, the beacon of demons. America is a magnet that draws demons. They hear their fathers the devils call. The original nation, in particular, is plagued by demons, resulting from 400 years of brutal unrestrained, unrelenting rape of black women and girls. This is referenced in chapter 12 where the woman is being tormented/raped to give birth. Also the golden cup filled with disgusting things. The original nation came here a clean golden cup, but was corrupted by the fornication/rapes of America. The demons prey on the original people who they resemble, getting fat off of exploiting them, just as their daddies do. They are more pernicious as they are wolves in sheep clothing, looking like, talking like, walking like us, but are not us. Ravenous wolves to be shunned. They love their daddies, they love America, they love false Israel, wherein is their weakness, in which they can be identified, they have the mark of the beast, 666.
Mystery Babylon, with golden cup/original nation in her hand. A corrupted golden cup laced with demons.
The following verses identifies the three demons. Farrakhan being identified as the chief demon. He has admitted that his father was Portuguese. Your father carries the seed. You are whatever your father is. The Ancient of Days / Son of Man / Jesus has hair as a lamb. Really? Mr. Farrakhan. Son of perdition. How much did you cost? You have a history of selling out. You sold out the messenger, and the nation of Islam. Anyone who would trust you is a fool. And I saw out of the mouth of the dragon and out of the mouth of the wild beast and out of the mouth of the false prophet spirits 3 unclean as frogs, they are for spirits of demons doing signs, which is going out upon the kings of the being inhabited whole, to lead together them into the war of the day the great of the God the Almighty. The Loks, the Shia, the 2 witnesses, Iran, Syria, are holding back the waters from flooding the earth. The waters are the Orientals, and Asians, Daniel's leopard, the 200 million man army that will attack, defeat, and set America ablaze. They are the flood, Noah's flood.